Omar, that's the first thing I seen, twin. I be feeling like I don't be putting that much like what you call on. Hold on, let me mute everything. My bad. I be feeling like I really don't be putting that much like chapstick or like Carmex on, whatever, bro. But then when I get up here, like in front of this camera, my lips be like I got lip gloss on some shit. No cap, no cap. What's popping, man? What's happening? What's happening? Shout out Bloody and Omar in the chat. What's cracking? Not gonna be a long stream tonight. Not gonna be a long stream tonight by any stretch of the imagination. I know I always say that, and then I end up going way longer than predicted. But not tonight. I don't believe. Not tonight. How I sound? Let me know in the chat. Let me make sure my audio is right. Let me know if I need to go up. Let me know if I need to go down. Y'all let me know. Y'all let me know. Y'all let me know, man. How we sounding? How we sounding? How everybody feeling? Matter of fact. Appreciate it. Okay. I see everybody saying I'm good. Okay. Appreciate it. Appreciate it. I know. I gotta cut that shit out, bro. Excuse me. I gotta cut it out, but I mean, I'm just not at a point in my life where I'm ready to stop, I guess. I thought like I thought when they put the ban up, I thought when they put the ban on, like I thought that I was gonna like expedite that feeling or whatever. But unfortunately it just didn't. And I went to my local vape shop and they had Razes, like the throwback joints, the original joints. This is not a sponsor, but these joints right here. So I mean, once that was the case, I was just like, yeah, let me get one of them. But I did better because before the ban, I was getting two at a time just so I didn't have to go back to the shop. But now it's just like if I want to get another one, it's something that I have to like literally physically like go do. So maybe that'll like I mean I don't know. I doubt it. I was gonna say maybe that'll help me, but I doubt it. I really do. I'm not gonna hold you. It was not AI. It was not AI. Dylan was actually slandering. I mean, slandering WWE fans, and for the life of me, I could not. I just didn't understand it, bro. I told him that his childhood was a bit flawed. Yeah, so you feel my pain, bro. You feel my pain. But like what I do to like cope with it is just tell myself that everybody is addicted to something. And like I think that my addictions could be way worse than vapes. That's what I tell myself to cope at least. I mean, I don't know like if that's good or not, honestly. Now all of a sudden he's been in WWE matches. This is the first I'm hearing about this. This is just know like uh this discourse with Dylan has been going on since like Monday afternoon. And this is my first time hearing that he's been to a WWE match. So I don't know if I believe it or not, to be honest. And it's gonna be up to y'all to believe that shit. I don't know if I believe it. This is my first time hearing that he's been to a WWE match. No cap. No cap. Let's say we'll get started in 4 minutes. We'll get started in 4 minutes. That'll give me time to get some stuff pulled up. That'll give me time to Well, get more time, give more people more time to enter. Also, uh, I'm not. So I thought I was signed in to FPFO over here. Let me see if I can get signed in on Twitter real quick with FPFO. Maybe, maybe not, but we'll give it a shot. Shit. Yeah, unfortunately, I'm not here to lie to y'all. I just can't. I can't share my screen with my personal Twitter. I'm not gonna lie. I got that. I just can't do that. I'm not gonna hold you. If you've been on Twitter for any length of time, you'll understand why. But just know they be catching me, bro. They be getting me hemmed up. I'll be folding, and then it just gets stuck in my algorithm, and then it's just fucked. So yeah, unfortunately, I just can't share my screen from this one. But if I can get the FPFO one popped up, oh shit, maybe that's why. Guess it would help if I knew the actual handle. And maybe it'll help if I know the password too. I don't know if I know the damn password anymore. Fuck. Okay, there we go. There we go. There we go. We're making progress. We're making progress, chat. Shout out everybody in the building. Hey QJ, that X algorithm be a motherfucker, boy. I'm not here to lie to you. I'm not here to lie to you, bro. I'm not here to lie to you. Like I had to get a privacy screen on my phone and everything, bro, because like it's just too much, bro. It's just too much, dog. It's too much. No cap. Shout out everybody in the chat, man. Scrappy was popping. Scrappy, as a matter of fact, I'm glad that you're here, bro. I'm glad that you're here. I need you to tell me why your son hates the WWE. Please tell me that. Please give me an answer. I mean, I can't even repeat the things that he called us in the chat for liking the WWE. Shamik, I love the sound of that. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie, Shamik. I love the sound of that. Shout out everybody in the chat. Panthers plug, what up? QJ, what up? Shout out everybody that's joined. All right, we're not gonna. This is not gonna be a long drawn out thing, man. Like I said, I'm honestly, I scheduled this thing probably like around like 3 o'clock today, and then work just got extremely hectic. So like, I honestly was about to scratch this shit. I was honestly about to dub it just because like I'm not feeling it. Also, in like the like hour, I'm in like hour 46 of a 48-hour fast, nothing but water and black coffee. I've done a shit job at like fluid intake. I say water and black coffee, but like I really never honestly drink the black coffee. It's always just water. But then I do like a terrible job with my water intake. So then it's just like I'm just pretty much running on fumes like the last couple of hours. But it's probably like my seventh or eighth time doing one of these, like within the last couple of months. And I mean, I'll be getting through it, but them last couple of hours be tough. So I say all of that to say, like, bear with me. Just bear with me. Yeah, no, I agree. I agree. I agree. I saw somebody else say this earlier. Like the WWE now is ass. But when we were growing up though, it won't that. When we were growing up, WWE was popping. Word, I like that. I like that, Mr. X. All right, man. Let me get through this shit and get out of here, bro. Like I said, tonight is not a long night. If you guys haven't already, I'll go through a couple of things first. Actually, let me switch to this. Let me switch to this. Yeah, let's switch here so you guys can tap in with us on social media. Okay, so if you guys are unfamiliar with who I am, I'm JJ. Um, Host of the Four Panthers Fans Only podcast. Also do this um sub, I don't even know what to call it. It's just another like really just individual content with myself called Move the Chains. You can tap in with us um at For Panthers Fans Only on YouTube. If you're not familiar with our YouTube channel, highly encourage you to go check that out right now. That's where you can find all of our For Panthers Fans Only clips, game day vlogs, full podcasts, everything like that at For Panthers Fans Only on YouTube. If you're on YouTube and you're watching right now, you're not subscribed, make sure to take the time right now, like, comment, subscribe, turn the bell notification on, share it with a friend. If you have a friend that's a Panthers fan that is not familiar with us or whatever the case may be, then tell them to get on the wave. Tell them to get on the wave. We got a lot of great things going on behind the scenes that you guys have absolutely no idea about right now. That I'm super super stoked about. We just introduced a new team member, Haley, this past week on the podcast. Also announced our giveaway winner for the largest giveaway that we've ever done. Um, a free trip, expense paid. I won't say all expenses paid because that's not true. Because I told him last night, we did our FaceTime call last night with Desmond, and me, myself, Terrence, Haley, and then we were on with Desmond. But I told him last night, hey, we'll cover the game tickets. We're gonna cover the 2 round trip flights, and we'll cover the hotel stay. But outside of that, hey, y'all on your own. So not all expense paid, but majority expenses paid. Road trip that we did, that was a major success for us. So shout out to everybody that was able to enter and participated in that and shared it with friends, family, whatever the case may be. Just super super stoked. Like I said, we have a lot of great things coming up. Really really excited for this upcoming season, a season that actually got kicked off today. um Transparently, as we kind of move along to the conversation for the night, season that got introduced today, um technically, with training camp day one kicking off. um Listen, I'm gonna be, everything that I'm gonna say tonight, I'm gonna preface everything that I'm gonna say regarding training camp, I'm gonna preface by saying just be very mindful and remain objective, because I've said it multiple times on the podcast. And if you're unfamiliar with For Panthers Fans Only, you can tap in with us down below on literally any social media site, DSP, whatever. Tap in with us there. But I said it multiple times, as has Terrence, as has Tavian, multiple times as it pertains to training camp being closed this year, not to fall victim to the training camp propaganda, because we know it's coming. We know it's coming. And I seen a little bit of it start today. Um, but really, it wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. To be honest, I feel as though like all of the journalists and all of the beat writers that were on scene and on site today for training camp day one were relatively objective, and they really just, I mean, it seemed like it was day one. It seemed like it was day one. Like day one last year wasn't anything crazy. It really was just people getting their feet back under them, no pads. So we're in shorts and t-shirts pretty much still. They may have had uppers on today. I don't know. But we'll take a look at just some like what was popping on Twitter today a little bit. We'll go through that. I'll kind of give my reactions because I haven't really seen much. I've seen a little bit. But I wanted to, my main objective tonight really was, so we record on Monday nights. I think everybody knows that at this point, if you're familiar with the show. We record on Monday nights. So then we release our episode every Tuesday, 9 a.m. Eastern time. But then, like, what makes it really difficult is then, like, of course, every single time we release an episode, right? Every time we record, it's very dry, and then we'll release the episode at 9 a.m. on Tuesdays, and then we just get absolutely bombarded with news, and so it's like one of those situations where we have to wait for a whole week, in that regard, if I'm not doing a move to change, wait a whole week to give our reactions and kind of touch on some of the topics. So that's really my main objective, was just to touch on some of the things that happened with the Carolina Panthers on Tuesday afternoon, as well as even today when we look at, Julian Blackmon. I'm very confused. Actually, we can just start there. I know like Josie Jewell is the thumbnail and everything, and we're definitely going to dive into that for sure. But I'm actually very, very confused on how the New Orleans Saints got their hands on Julian Blackmon for $5.5 million. I'm very, very confused on that. This is my challenge for Sheena, Joe, David Newton, even though I can't stand them. Who else? Mike K, Carolina Vibe, like all of these people. My challenge for you guys is for somebody tomorrow at practice or at some point within the next week, ask Dan Morgan, how are we not able to bring in Julian Blackmon for $5.5 million? I just have a hard time believing that Julian Blackmon looks at the Carolina Panthers situation and then looks at the New Orleans Saints situation. And if we match the offer or even offer them more, I have a hard time believing Julian Blackmon chose the New Orleans Saints, and the way that franchise is currently constructed, the way that they look like they're just on a one-way trip to hell, really, transparently. I have a hard time believing that he chooses the New Orleans Saints over us, bro. I really do. I really do. And it's frustrating because, obviously we see within the first 5 or 10 minutes of practice, or maybe not that soon in the practice, because I'm not 100% sure of the schedule, but I know that the main thing that popped off very, very early in the day today was the notification that Damani Richardson had picked off Bryce Young, right? So all of what I'm saying right now regarding Julian Blackmon, like, it's phenomenal news that Damani Richardson is the player that he is. I'm actually one of the guys that totally believes in Damani Richardson and what he has the ability to do for this organization and for this team, because I saw it literally every day at training camp last year when I was able to go. Shout out to the organization for ruining that. But nevertheless, I'm very, very confused on that, bro. I'm really, really confused on it. I know that the Carolina Panthers brought Julian Blackmon in for a visit. I don't know if a workout was attached to that as well. I really can't remember. But I found it alarming. That he was even able to come into the building and leave without a deal. So I was on high alert then, right? So then it's just like, okay, well, at some point or another, maybe 2 or 3 weeks ago, me and Terrence were discussing it, and we just came to the conclusion that, like, look, Julian Blackmon just is not coming to Carolina. It was one of two things. Either he wasn't coming to Carolina, or he was coming to Carolina and really just kind of wanted to wait, pull the vet move, like we've seen Jadeveon Clowney do over the past couple of years. Like sign later on in the summer so that training camp and all of that stuff, all of the dog days can kind of be over with, and then you're just kind of a plug and play piece, right? So it was one of those two things. But then we just came to the conclusion, like I said, that it's just not going to happen, bro. Like, if it hasn't happened now, and then we go get Ransom in the draft, we see all of these guys, like we have a mass workout on Monday afternoon with like 15 players, multiple pieces in the secondary. So you see all of this stuff, and it's just like, okay, well, Julian Blackmon is just not coming to Carolina. Okay. I think that we all came to that conclusion at some point or another throughout this whole process. Now, what I did not expect to see was $5.5 million was all it took to get Julian Blackmon to sign a 1-year deal with the New Orleans Saints. That stunned me. I'll be honest. I was extremely confused by that. I would love for somebody that has access to training camp this year, and I know Dan Morgan appears to quite a few practices because I saw it with my own eyes last year. Somebody please ask Dan Morgan, what did we offer Julian Blackmon and how many years? Because 1 year for $5.5 million, nothing more than a prove it deal. I just don't know how. If you look at this Carolina Panthers defense, and if you're unfamiliar with our Twitter, I will highly encourage you to go look at that, because our content manager Dylan actually dropped a phenomenal graphic and has over the past couple of months showing the depth chart currently and what our defense currently looks like. If you look at this Carolina Panthers defense, there's just no way that you're comfortable with it constructed the way it is, rolling it out week one. It's just not possible, bro. It's just not possible. And I'll be transparent. a couple of episodes consecutively over this offseason, I have gotten ahead of myself as it pertains to the confidence that I have in this defense, honestly. And then, first day of training camp, what I had to see is that Julian Blackmon signs with the New Orleans Saints, a divisional foe, for $5.5 million. Stunned me. Very, very confused, bro. Very, very confused. I don't know how you're the Carolina Panthers. Like, again, looking at this defense the way that it is, looking at this secondary the way that it is, acknowledging the fact that, like we've said this multiple times on For Panthers Fans Only as well, but acknowledging the fact that this secondary really is one injury away from things getting very, 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 very bad. Honestly, if we're just gonna listen tonight, I'm just like I said, man. I'm on this fast, so my emotions just aren't like they usually are. Y'all know I'm a big guy, man. So I need that. You know, I need that extra fuel tonight. I'm just gonna go ahead and be honest with y'all. I'm just in the business of transparency and us just having honest, candid conversations. That's what tonight is all about. I'm gonna do my best to keep it clean too. That's another part of tonight. Keep everything clean, but also have very, very candid conversations. I don't know how the Carolina Panthers allow Julian Blackmon to go to a divisional foe for only $5.5 million. I don't. And I don't like it. I'll be honest. I don't like it. I don't like it. And like I said, the secondary is literally one injury away from this thing not looking the best. Not looking the best. And honestly, I've been saying that if it's Mike, then we would be okay. I've been saying that if it was the center or excuse me, the safety beside Trevon Merring, that we will be okay. To be honest, I just don't know how true that is anymore, bro. As time goes on. And I know, like I said, excuse me, I'm just looking at this thing like holistically. This has nothing to do with training camp. It has nothing to do with anything besides looking at that secondary and looking at this defense specifically. Seeing Julian Blackmon go to the New Orleans Saints for $5.5 million for only 1 year, and then going back to our roster and our depth chart and seeing what our secondary looks like. Very, very questionable. Very questionable. Now, there's a possibility in a world in which Julian Blackmon comes in the building, right? And something just off, something is just off physical wise. Like can't pass his physical, or something is off. Like there's an injury, which we know Julian Blackmon has had, a small history of injuries and things of that nature. Um, but it's just very, very questionable. It's very, very questionable. It's something that I need more information on, to be honest. It's something that I need more information on, to be honest, because honestly, I just don't see how you don't match that deal. And honestly, I don't see how you don't give them $500,000 more. Cool. They're offering you 5.5. We'll offer you 6. That's our final offer. Now, if he starts to get a little big headed or whatever the case may be, and they try and negotiate and they try and play a bidding war, unfortunately, we're not in the business of that. We're not. But I do believe that we could have came up off of $6.5 million to bring this piece in, even if it is for 1 year. Even if it is for 1 year, because I'm just under the belief that, bro, the only thing that has to happen is for this defense to be serviceable. That's it. That's how I feel. Now, the 10 wins talk, like I said, I really just have to see how training camp goes and kind of how clean we come out of training camp, right? Because we saw some injury news yesterday. Saw got a couple of updates from Dave Canales today. Like it's a lot, bro. It's a lot. It's a lot. Like I said, now I will say when I do these fasts, I become a lot more vigilant and self-aware, as well as like, you know, just more focused on the details and the information. I will say that. That's what this part of this fast forces me to do. And yesterday, between yesterday and today, like honestly, this was probably the worst 48 hours for me uh to choose to do this fast for this particular month, because between yesterday and today, I just continued to get news that didn't really make me too happy. And listen, I want to be abundantly clear. I am not in angry JJ mode by any stretch of the imagination. I'm chilling, I promise. I'm chilling, I promise. I promise. Just very confusing, bro. Just very confusing. Like I mean, I really don't have any much more to say about it besides somebody please get me more information. Somebody please get me more information. And Dan Morgan, why couldn't we match $5.5 million? And then listen, it's a situation in which, look, if we offer him the $5.5 million and he just turned it down, I'm A-okay with that. I'm A-okay with that. But what I'm not A-okay with is you having a significant need in your secondary. If we're just being honest, I know Damani had a phenomenal day at practice today, and we'll touch on that just a little bit because, like I said, I don't want to ever mislead you guys. I don't want to ever give you guys misinformation. So we're gonna go through a couple of the beat writers feeds. We'll look at a couple of the videos and stuff like that. But for me personally, last year completely jaded me. Because I was able to be literally like at every single practice and then see kind of how the beat reporters put out certain bits of information and just remembering a couple of different occasions where I'm just like, that didn't quite go that way. And you definitely can't trust anything that the Panthers put out because, I mean, their job is social media. The social media team is just to, make the team look good. That's their job, right? So we'll go through a couple of those things. But on to the original point, I think that news for me was just very frustrating. Not to ramble and rant about it over and over again, but I will say that news to me was very, very frustrating. It was. It really was. I mean, like I said, we just had to have a candid conversation. We just do. Another candid conversation that we have to have. First and foremost, actually, I'm not even going to start the way that I thought that I was going to start, or not even necessarily thought that I was going to start, but I'm not going to go into the direction and approach that I was going to take originally. What I want to say is prayers up for Josie Jewell. Prayers up for Josie Jewell. It's very alarming that he's still suffering from concussion-like symptoms after 7 months. So that's the first thing that I'll say. Prayers up for Josie Jewell. Okay? I hope, I wish him the best. I hope he gets the help that he needs. I hope that he heals. I hope that, I wish nothing but good things, positivity, all of that on Josie Jewell. Okay? Let me just say that first. Moving past that, because he's no longer a part of this team anymore. So only thing that I can do is give him well wishes and send him on about his way. The Carolina Panthers, and we kind of talked about this a little bit this past week, but I'm just going to say this. The Carolina Panthers did a terrible job, and this is Dan, Brant, Dave. This is the same way we praised them for the collaboration when they do something good and when there's good news coming out, or when they bring in big time guys, or make good moves. It's going to be the same exact thing when they do some bullshit or when they don't address things properly. This organization did not do a good job at all with addressing the linebacker depth problem, because it's always been there. It's been there for the whole offseason. And unfortunately, I'll speak for myself. Unfortunately, I personally was blinded by the moves that they made outside of that, because they did make some phenomenal moves. They brought in Turk Wharton. They brought on Trevon Maring, Bobby Brown III, which we'll touch on that too, because, I mean, I really don't know what these guys do like during the off season for us to like start training camp and not be ready. I don't, bro. I don't understand what's like. I don't understand why I have to start camp off by seeing Bobby Brown III is on the pup list, by seeing Josie Jewell has been released because of concussion symptoms that he's been suffering for 7 months. You feel me? Like, it's just, this is all of this stuff. Like I said, I just wanted to come in here and touch on all of these things just very briefly. Don't want to draw too much out too long. But I will say, this organization did not do a good job at all with addressing the linebacker position. They didn't. And listen, I know that there's still fans in this fan base that are high on Trevin Wallace. I know that there are a lot of fans in this fan base that are optimistic about Christian Roseboom. And listen, let's just play a hypothetical game. And then I'm going to pose a question to you guys. And it'll kind of be a rhetorical question just because I'm not really in the chat right now, which I will get to in a few minutes. So if you're in the chat right now, shout out to you. Keep commenting, keep doing what you're doing because I promise I'm coming to y'all. But I'm going to pose a hypothetical situation to you guys. For the people that are extremely high on Trevin Wallace and the people that are in fact optimistic about Christian Roseboom, which I would say I'm somewhere in the middle on Christian Roseboom. It's alarming to me that your previous organization's fans celebrated that you left, but then it's also like beneficial and it's also a good thing when I go look at the stat sheet and then I go look at some of the film. I see a lot of plays that you made, et cetera, et cetera. So, but it's just hard for me because I will say I probably haven't done enough film breakdown or watched enough film on Christian Roseboom to know exactly everything I need to know about him. So I'll shoot him bail in that regard. But just to present this hypothetical situation to you guys, right? Because it's not just about the guys that we're rolling out. At this point, it is about the guys that we're rolling out because for me personally, I didn't want to see Trevin Wallace starting this year. I didn't. I didn't want to see Trevin Wallace starting this year. So that's number one. Number two, let's play the hypothetical game. This is why I said this organization just did a bad job at even addressing the depth. We didn't need a game breaking guy. We just needed more pieces. We needed more serviceable pieces. But hypothetically speaking, let's say for the people that are high on Trevin and the people that are optimistic about Roseboom, let's just say, cool. Both of those guys start off the season phenomenally and one of them go down. Now what? Because I see a lot of you guys still aren't talking about the linebacker room and addressing the problem that is there. I don't know if that's like a coping mechanism. I don't know. I really don't know. I don't know what that's all about. But unfortunately, tonight I'm here to shed some light on it because it's an issue and it's alarming. Let's just say, hypothetically speaking, those two things happen, right? Roseboom and Trevin Wallace look like the next Luke Kuechly and Thomas Davis. You know, this room isn't as bad as we thought it was going to be, whatever the case may be. What happens when one of those guys go down? Again, rhetorical, or you can drop it in the chat. Because I think that we all know the answer, honestly. I think that we all know the answer, and it's very, very similar to similar to the answer to the question if you ask yourself, what happens if JC Horn goes down? And I know I said that I was going to try my best to keep it clean, but unfortunately, for this particular portion of the show, I just don't have anything else to say besides if either of those things happen, JC Horn going down, or either Trevin Wallace or Christian Roseboom going down, we're fucked. There's no other way to put it. We're fucked. As things stand right now. Now I'm gonna preface this because I'm fully aware on how training camp works. I'm fully aware on the transactions that occur during the summer and things of that nature. I know how this thing goes. I'm not green, right? So, but the only thing that I can do is look at this situation for how it is now. This is not going to cut it. Because this is your linebacking group right now. And I'm going to just try and zoom in for one so I can see it. And for two, so y'all can see it. But we'll just say outside linebackers are what they are. But let's just look at the interior line. Interior linebackers, excuse me. We're fried. Let one of them two go down, and we'll probably see one of the worst time periods of linebacker play in Carolina Panthers history. And to be quite frank, with all due respect, I don't even know if both of these guys stay healthy, I don't even know if that even changes the trajectory of anything, to be frank. Because me personally, I haven't seen enough from either one of these guys. Christian Roseboom is still a question mark. Yes, everybody wants to get gassed up on the 100 plus tackles that he had. It was a great story because he came in for the injured linebacker for the Rams. I'm drawing a blank right now. Forgive me, but comes in immediately becomes a starter for I believe it was 13 games. Has the 100+ tackles, whatever the case may be. And listen, if you're only a box score watcher, then the only thing that you'll ask ChatGPT or Google is how many tackles did Christian Roseboom have? How many sacks? Like you'll do shit like that, and you would be content with the number that you see. That's how you choose to analyze and form your opinions about football and football players and football talent. That's just not what I do. That's not what I do. Now I know I mentioned, excuse me, Jesus. Now I know I mentioned earlier that I haven't watched nearly enough film on Christian Roseboom, but I will be transparent. I watched enough to know that he's not the answer moving forward. He's not the answer moving forward. He may be, he may be okay for this season because right now you have no other choice. You have no other option. But he's definitely not the answer moving forward. And then, I mean, I don't even think that y'all really want me to have a conversation about Trevin Wallace, especially not with the mindset in the mental space that I'm in right now, because I might get to getting too honest. And I know, I know family members, and I know it'd be a lot of things going on, a lot of moving pieces that y'all might not 100% see. That on the back end we see, and we just be like, okay, understood, type shit. So the conversation about Trevin Wallace might just be a little too honest for tonight. Honestly. And see, like, to be honest, me too. Me too. I do too. Because we saw flashes from Jacoby last year. Saw flashes from him in the preseason, saw flashes from him in the Atlanta game, saw flashes from him sporadically all throughout the season, honestly, last year, when given the opportunity. But I just don't know, honestly, I don't know if he gets a fair shake against Trevin Wallace, to be frank. I don't know if he's going to get a fair shake. And I'll try and keep this as clean, concise, respectful as possible. But to be quite frank, I just simply don't know if Trevin Wallace has it. I don't. And as a fan, to me, to be honest, outside of the amount of let me change this up. My fault. Oh shit. Okay, maybe not. I'll just go back to this. I don't understand why this is not working properly. Whatever. I'll just go back here. Outside of I don't even know where I was going. Long story short, I don't know if Trevor Wallace has it. That distracted me. I apologize. I just don't know if he has it, bro. Oh, I know exactly where I was going. Outside of the amount of money that I spent, and because I think that a lot of y'all like on X for one, sometimes in the YouTube comments, y'all get caught up in this as well. But like, and I will say, like, I've had different conversations internally where like too much is just too much, right? And we've been very very aware of that. Like I feel like this podcast, as well as myself, as a personality, if that's what you want to word it as a content creator, has done a great job. Not only myself, but Terrence, Tavian, Dylan, etc. We've done a great job at maturing past like some of the things that we used to say and do as it pertains to some of these players, right? And but sometimes you guys get caught up in like y'all are a fans podcast, like y'all need to just chill, like y'all need to be uplifting, like, and I get that, I understand that, but at the same time, like, bro, like our whole brand is just built off of being honest. Our whole brand is just built off being honest, honestly. Like, no cap. That's what y'all come here for, right? Unfiltered, uh, straight to the point truth. A lot of y'all are here just to see me crash out, and I know that, and I'm aware of that, and that's okay because we welcome y'all with open arms too, and hopefully, outside of my crash outs, you'll learn something or you'll take a piece of content or information with you, and it'll just make you a better fan, I guess, so to speak, right? But a lot of y'all get caught up in that we should just be, stroking egos and just handling niggas with kid gloves. And unfortunately, that's just not the business that we're in, bro. That's just not the business that we're in. I understand because we made a TikTok reel, whatever, short, however you want to word it, and put it out on X about Trevin Wallace a week and a half ago when we had during our fan blitz segment. Somebody asked us, one of the questions that were submitted was, why are people not high on Trevin Wallace? And I said very candidly, very respectfully, simply put, because he hasn't given us a reason to. He didn't do shit last year. He didn't. And then, like, once we post that on X, I immediately see people get the cop and please. Like, he was a third round pick. We weren't expecting him to start. The injury to Shaq early in the season hurt. Bro, listen, I'm not in the business of excuses, bro. I'm not in the business of excuses. You either got it or you don't. You either have what it takes to be on the NFL level and to be a productive piece of a starting lineup, specifically defense, or you don't. Or you don't. So when people ask me why we're not excited about Trevin Wallace or why, we go so hard on Trevin Wallace, this, and this, it's because, bro, to be honest, I really didn't see shit. I didn't. And I understand his situation is unique in the fact that he was kind of thrusted into the starting lineup, bro. But at some point or another, you got to see development from these guys, bro. Take Shaw Smith-Wade, for example, right? A lot of people were very, very confused on the Shaw Smith-Wade pick because they weren't familiar with his name, because we had the opportunity in the second round to get a couple of big name guys in the secondary, and we chose to pass up on them for Jonathan Brooks. So a lot of people were frustrated with that Shaw Smith-Wade pick, right? But realistically and honestly, if you look at the film, and outside of that, if you just talk to the Carolina Panthers fan base, a lot of them will tell you that Shaw Smith-Wade, his development was abundantly clear. And you don't even have to really go as far as to turning the film on. You can go just to the games. You can just go watch the condensed version on NFL Plus of the games, and you can see Shaw Smith-Wade development. You can. It's abundantly clear, right? So Shaw Smith-Wade is one of those guys that people were extremely tough on. I would say had a good amount of pressure on him. Nothing crazy, right? Because he was a third round pick or whatever he was, right? So nothing really, really crazy. Third or fourth, I can't remember. My apologies. Nevertheless, nothing crazy. But he had a good amount of pressure on him due to some injuries that we suffered last year, due to us having the absolute worst defense in NFL history. He was thrusted into certain positions. And you know what Shaw Smith-Wade did last year? No matter what my co-host and my producer and everybody else tries to tell you, when you turn that film on, he developed and he got better. And he became a serviceable piece for the Carolina Panthers defense last year. Now, am I aware that, we had the worst defense in NFL history last year? Absolutely. Right? Because my co-host tried to paint a picture last week, and say, it's easy to stand out when you're on the worst defense. So any play that you make is going to be, commended or applauded rather. And to be honest, I don't know how true that is. After I've had some days to think about that, I don't know how true that is. I think Shaw Smith-Wade's development was abundantly clear. I do. I think if you know football, if you look at the film, if you look at his reps, I got to see it firsthand, bro, because I saw what he looked like at the start of training camp, and then I saw what he progressed into at the end of the season last season. Major difference. Major difference. Really not even the same player. And this is not a Shaw Smith Wade Glaze session. It's not. But I'm just being honest with y'all, right? Just to make the point that when you have people talking about Trevin Wallace, and I had to go on Twitter and see people copping pleas for him, I get it. He's an extremely young guy, only his second year in the NFL. But I also, in that same breath and respect, I also have the ability to challenge if he has it or not, based on what we saw from a production standpoint last year, based on what I've seen outside of the season as I watch film, right? I had somebody try and tell me the other day that the game that Trevin Wallace played, I think this may have been his first game starting or maybe second, but the game that Trevin Wallace played against the Chicago Bears was outstanding because I made the point that after the Chicago Bears game, I damn near was done with them at that point. But I'm also fair. I acknowledge the fact that I'm extremely emotional, but I'm also fair, right? But I would say like the game against Chicago was probably one of the worst linebacker games that I've seen played in a very, very long time, bro. Specifically as it pertains to the Carolina Panthers. One of the worst that I've ever seen, to be quite frank. It was. But you have box score watchers and guys that really, really don't watch football and really don't know football, who don't watch film, because Trevin Wallace had 15 tackles that game, are gonna gas him up and suck him off. And for me personally, but that's just not in the business that I'm in, bro. It's just not. It's just not. Go watch the film and go tell me that Chicago Bears game specifically. Go watch the film and tell me what you saw, right? So take that game and then just progress throughout the season. And I always tell y'all too, bro. I always tell y'all this. If you ever want to watch film and don't have the ability to do so, I will give y'all my NFL Plus information so y'all can go see the All 22 for yourself. But if you don't know what you're watching, then I personally can't help that. I can't help somebody that doesn't understand the fact that just because a linebacker has 15 or 20 tackles in the game doesn't mean they played well. It doesn't. And too often I saw last year, even outside of the 15 tackle game with the Chicago Bears, one of the worst performances I've ever seen at linebacker, even outside of that, there was just really minimal development from Trevin Wallace, bro. Excuse me. It just was like, and we just got to be honest. We just got to be honest, bro. We just had to be honest. The Carolina Panthers did a poor job. They did a very poor job at addressing the interior linebacker position, addressing the depth in that room, and now we're stuck in a very, 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 very tough position. Very tough position. We are, because now our hands are tied where we're in a situation where Trevin and Rosenboom, at the very least, they can't get hurt. Because, yeah, I mean, we can say we trust Jacoby Windman, but in that same breath, we haven't seen him do it over a stretch of time either. We haven't seen him have to do it consecutively. We've seen pops and we've seen spurts. We've seen a play here, a play there, but we don't know what he's going to look like, hypothetically speaking, if Rosenboom or Trev go down. And Shereless, I mean, to be honest, I don't really need to go into much details on that. He's a special teams guy, respectfully. And there's nothing wrong with that, because I know a couple of guys personally. I know a couple of guys personally that have been in the NFL, and that's all they've been is a special teams guy. And have made a good living. You know, they hit their number of years that they have to play for them to get their pension and to get their insurance and all of that kind of stuff, you know. And that's great. But he's nothing more than that. He's nothing more than a special teams guy. I don't trust Shereless rolling out there in any starting form, any starting package, and having to go 50, 60, 70, 80, 90 plays defensively. I don't trust it. I don't trust it. It would make me extremely uncomfortable. It would. It would. I'm just being honest, bro. It doesn't. Yeah, it doesn't. It doesn't. See, I'm glad that Yak commented this, because this is the thing, yeah. Yeah, me and you, I'm pretty. If this is the same yak, I can't tell if this is my if this is my yak that just was featured on FPFO or not. I can't tell. So now I gotta pull this shit. Now I gotta pull this and see because I remember if this is my yak, this isn't my yak. I think it is. If this is my yak, then yak, I remember us watching this game at your house in the living room, and we dog and rag on Trevin Wallace. If this is my yak, if this is a different yak, I apologize. And if this is a different yak, because my yak, I know my yak knows football, and I know my yak watches film, and I know my yak like, you know, be saying some trolling shit sometimes. But this is what you have to watch out for right here. Because just because somebody has 15 or 20 tackles in the game doesn't mean that they had a good game. That's a fact. Like I said initially, that's a fact. Doesn't mean that they had a good game. That Chicago Bears game, to be honest, with it being Trevin Wallace's the most tackles he's ever had in his career in one singular game, that was by far his worst game. That was by far Trevin Wallace's worst game, was that Chicago Bears game. Go back and look at the film. Go back and look at what they did to him in coverage. Go back and look at the big plays that he gave up. Go back and look at the touchdown that he gave up. So, you know, you go through the chat real quick. In conclusion, the Carolina Panthers didn't do a good job at addressing the linebacker position. And like I said, if a major injury occurs, we're down on our dick. For lack of better terms. We just are. And let me see. Go to the chat real quick. Bro, QJ, we were literally talking about this shit the other day, bro, before we recorded, bro. No cap. No cap. I don't know if it's top 5, but it'll be great. It'll be good. They were doing that. And to be honest, well, I guess we'll wait. That's a good point. That's a good point, Omar. I mean, they didn't guarantee you anything that will happen. This is all speculation. It's all speculation. This is just from an outside perspective looking in. We don't have sources until we do. We don't have sources until we do. And I'll leave that at that. So this is all speculation. This is all outside looking in. Yeah, I mean, I totally agree. I totally agree, bro. I totally agree. I mean, it is absolutely disgusting. I don't know how. I don't know how that happens. I don't know how that's allowed to happen. I don't know. I mean, it's almost malpractice. But because they did a great job at building up the D line this year, I'm just gonna relax and chill. But it's almost malpractice. I don't know how you let him walk out the building and how you have a conversation and his agent tells you, hey, New Orleans is offering us 4.5 million, 5.5 million, whatever it was. I don't see how you don't at least try and match that and then let the guy pick. Then let him pick. And if he picked New Orleans, then that's on him. He's dumb as fuck. If he picked New Orleans over Carolina, in my opinion. This is completely objective. You just look at the situation. That would be a dumbass decision for him if he chose New Orleans over Carolina. If we're just talking straight, no bias, straight objectivity. And I would agree with this too. And this is part of the reason why it's nasty to me, to be honest. I agree with this, QJ. I think it is politics. I think it is politics. And the way that Dan Morgan came out, excuse me, I know that was loud for y'all. My apologies. The way Dan Morgan came out in support of Trevin Wallace and in support of this pick, I would say that is even more abundantly clear now. Honestly. But then we see today Christian Roseboom saying that he's the green dot linebacker. So you say all of this stuff about Trevin Wallace and you do all of these things and you say he's going to be great for the team. You really, really trust him, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But then you bring in a guy that hasn't even been in the organization for 8 months, hasn't played a snap with this organization. I'm not sure if he has relations to EJ. If he does, then forgive me. But hasn't played a snap in this system specifically, and he automatically becomes a green dot. Like if they really, really trusted Trev the way they say and the way they portray to the media and to us as fans, he would be the green dot linebacker. He would. He would. And you will force him, you would literally force him to be what you needed him to be as a leader on the field if they really, really wholeheartedly trusted him. Right now, it is all politics. I would agree. It's all politics and optics. Omar, you a real day one, bro. You a real day one, bro. No cap. I don't think so. I repeated it 4 more times, and it didn't sound any less crazy. It didn't. It didn't, bro. I mean, I don't know what you want me to say. It didn't. Exactly. And this is the problem. This is when it becomes alarming. This is when it becomes alarming. When people are attacking you and prioritizing your coverage and attacking you in a pass from a pass game standpoint, or when you're not picking up on your reads fast enough, which by Dave Canales' own admittance had been a problem for Trevin Wallace. This is when it becomes alarming, and this is when it becomes an issue. That's why the 15, 20 tackles a game, or not even a game, that particular game, doesn't mean shit to me. That's why, because you turn on the film and you see. You turn on the film and you see. Oh, if we had Shaq, I would feel phenomenal. I would feel phenomenal. I'm not sure how often you watch the podcast, or if you're a avid viewer, if you just tap in and tune in sometimes, but um, I would feel outstanding. I've been trying to tell Terrence and Tavian for the past 5.5, 6 weeks, pre him going back to Buffalo, that we needed to swallow our pride and go get him back, because I already knew this linebacker room was shit. I already knew. That was pre Josie Jewell being released yesterday. So I would feel a lot better. I would feel a lot better, because you know what that would be? That would be okay, guess what? Trevin Wallace no longer has to start. And Trevin Wallace can also learn from a veteran Pro Bowler and can soak up game. And should one of the two go down between him and Roseboom, then we rely on Trevin Wallace. I would feel a lot better. I would feel a lot better. Shaq Thompson, a lot of people feel a certain way about his injuries or whatever the case may be. What I know for a fact is that you just can't take a dog out of a nigga. You just can't. You either got that or you don't. You either got that dog in you or you don't. So I would feel a lot better personally. Let me know how y'all feel though. 6 years as a veteran, they trust him more than Trevin and can let Trevin just play without all the pressure because he's so. I mean, that's a fair perspective. That's a fair perspective, and honestly, that perspective and that stance like makes sense, because they were like I said, Dave Canales admitted on multiple occasions that Trevin Wallace at times would just simply think way too much when he was on the field last year, and that was part of the reason for the lack of production. So this is fair. This is fair. This is fair. I don't know if he's been in this system. What do you mean by this system? But outside of that, fair assessment. Fair assessment. But yeah, that's really all I have on that. The Bobby Brown thing alarmed me as well. I mean, to receive that news, and then to receive the news that Josie Jewell was being released back to back the way that we did, put a huge damper on day one of training camp for me. He said in his presser, he said he'd been in the system his whole career. I mean, okay. All right. I mean, I really don't have anything to say about that. If that's how he feels and that's what the coaching staff feels and how they feel, then so be it. I just hope he's right. I just hope he's right, because if we come out like we did last year and we start seeing multiple miscommunications and we start seeing motherfuckers not fitting on the defense properly, not flowing off the defensive line properly, then I know that I'm going to be enraged. I just do. I know myself. So I hope that that's accurate. I hope that he's accurate. It's a good point. Let's look at that really quick. Let's look at inside linebackers. Oh shit! I almost left y'all. My fault. Um, let me see. Gotta find the list. Gotta find the list. I'm seeing a lot of. Here we go. This might. This wording might be a bit better. I don't know why I can't find a list of the. I don't know why I can't find a list of the remaining uh the remaining what you call the remaining free agents. Dylan, can you please send me a list of the remaining inside linebacker free agents? Email it to FPFO. And I don't know what you mean by I have to fix the title. What does the title say? I mean, I don't know what's wrong with that. It is. Did I spell trouble wrong? It's possible. I can't find a list. I know that Kazir White is still available. I know Eric Kendricks, formerly with the Dallas Cowboys and Minnesota Vikings. I know he's still available. But outside of those guys, like it's not really any pieces that I'm personally going to feel too comfortable with rolling out. Honestly. So, I mean, who knows? Who knows, man? I mean, just poorly handled. Just poorly handled. And frustrating. Honestly. Let's go see what we can find. See some training camp vids today. Nah, for real. This picture was hard. I'm not gonna lie. When this draw, I said, "Oh, that's tough." Oh, that's tough for sure. That's hard. That's hard. Let me see. Let's just go to pages, bro. This shit is not gonna work. See if we can get some videos or something. Oh shit! Did y'all see?
All SEC, we cannot relate.
Y'all hear this?
Undrafted in 2002, we cannot relate. Then you have one Pro Bowl in 2011. We cannot relate. So if you want to unlock Petty Cam and everything that Cam Newton has ever said on this 4th and 1 show has always been backed by merit and logic, but some way, shape, form, people keep attacking Cam, the person, or why he didn't jump on the fumble, why he didn't do this, or comparing and contrasting. So when I compare and contrast you guys' statistics and Dan Orlovsky, never mind. But as we keep going and we keep unlocking and keep poking the bear, and y'all want to play this game, I can that we want to attack the messenger, Ryan Clark. Okay, let's pull up your stats. Second team All SEC, we cannot relate. Undrafted in 2002, we cannot relate.
He's right.
It's competition. It's football. You know, obviously.
Can y'all hear? Y'all let me know if y'all can hear my audio. Me too. Me too, QJ. Okay. Well, I mean, they trust him. They trust him. I mean, listen, bro. I'm not disputing the fact that this front office and this coaching staff is high on Christian Roseboom. I'm not disputing that fact at all because I know. I know that that's a fact. I'm just saying that if Trev was who they say he was, then they would feel confident with giving his ass a red dot or a green dot, rather. Excuse me. That's the only thing that I'm saying. But like I said, your initial point made sense, and I said, listen, that makes sense, and if that is the logic and the reasoning behind it, then I respect it. That's what should happen. That's what should happen. If that's the case. Can y'all hear my audio?
You know, there's some I mean, I didn't have to say anything, but you know, that's competition. It's football. You know, obviously, you know, there's some etiquette stuff in football, but young guy getting after his first day out here in training camp, and shoot, we want to see those plays on Sundays. You know, he's a competitor. We're all competitors. We want to be getting each other better. So, you know, obviously we want to take care of each other, practice and all that. But I love what he's doing. I love what he stands for. You know, he's on my team at the end of the day. So see him do stuff like that is great. So we love the competition.
Yeah. I heard my boy Princely was out that whole wreaking havoc. Boys had it in practice for my dog. All right, cool. Appreciate it. Boys had it in practice, man, because Princely, I told y'all I like them niggas that got screws loose, bro. And Princely is one of them. No cap. Princely to me falls in that category with a screw or two loose. He got a screw or two loose. No cap. Let me fix this real quick. Thank you, Dylan. That's why we got you around, brother. That and multiple other reasons, but you know. 1 second. We'll keep going through the timeline and seeing what we can see. Then we might hop over the Dunk stream. I know Dunk is doing the stream right now. We might hop over the Dunk stream for a second on YouTube and see what Dunk talking about. Then again, maybe we won't do that. Maybe I'll just end and y'all can go watch it. Oh shit. All right. I can't X out for some reason. Oh, there we go. All right. We'll just have to leave it where it's at. No cap. Hey, they said, I mean, I don't even know. I would love to know if like Princely actually touched him or what. I just know that the practice ended today on a strip sack. That's all I know. Via Princely. And they said it wasn't just Princely. They said Nick Scorton won his rep too. And they said Trevon Merritt was in the backfield as well. I love to hear that. I'm not going to lie. Though I spent the last 30 minutes ragging on this defense, I love to hear that for sure. This is the type of energy I'm on all year.
Very competitive team. And I think that the sky's the limit for this. And I think that the sky's the limit for this group. I think that this is going to be a very competitive team. I don't think people are going to want to play us. And I think that the sky's the limit.
Sure. We sliding on everything moving. Long story short.
Always like dog being drafted. Yeah, best thing in the world. I tell people.
Shout out JC Horn. Yeah. I have no idea why.
We Coach Wright, which was really cool. I always have a ton of love for Coach Wright. We still keep in contact. That was who drafted me, who was the reason why I'm here, which I'm super grateful for. It was great seeing him. He had his guys too. I'm super happy for him at his spot as well.
Give it a break.
Breaking down my first brick. That was 05. I was in that 06.
You know about that shit.
In the yellow Bentley Bumblebee up in the breaking down my first brick. That was 05.
JT's feet look real good, bro. JT's feet look real good, and you can tell he done cut up a little bit. He done got some of that baby fat off of him, for sure. He done got some of that baby fat off of him, for sure.
Hit me on the black. Hit me on the black phone.
I think he's gonna be special. I think Tet is gonna be special. Excuse me, T-Mac. I think T-Mac is gonna be special. I really do. Dylan, I have to fix the errors made after the stream ends. It won't allow me to edit it.
Exactly why he's here. Absolutely, a really close one, a great rush. Exactly why he's here. Is to be able to affect the passer. Just came really tight around that corner and kind of Nick Bryce, on the arm right there. The ball comes out, and that's really not what we want to see. I want to see that first part of it though, and just the great bend and flexibility and power that he has in his rushes. So even some of the veteran guys who come up at the end, they're like, hey, don't back off of that. Just be smart at the top. Okay, this is all of us. We got to take care of each other at that moment. Those decisions down the field, the decisions in the pocket. So yeah, that's something that we have to talk about. Yeah, absolutely, a really close one, a great rush.
Princely, hey, I got to get my Princely jersey, bro. I got to get my Princely jersey ASAP. I do. I'm sure y'all saw this catch, but it was nice. It was nice enough for me to pull it up and watch it again. So I'll play it. Great hands. He gonna be a dog, bro. Oh my God, we got one. Hey, chat, we got one. Good work from the media team right there. Shout out to y'all. Let me see. I'll show y'all the. I don't know if y'all saw this one. If y'all saw this or not. Oh damn, they don't have it on. They don't have it on X. Oh, the big boys hit. Oh yeah, this is the pick, bro. This is the pick, the Damani Richardson pick early in practice, early in 7-on-7s. Look at that shit. Football is back, man. Football is back. I feel like a kid in a candy store, bro. Hunter had a crazy day too. Allegedly. But this was one. I seen another catch that was crazy too, but this shit right here was nice. Look at that. Full extension, turn the ball over, get control. That's good money. And for whatever it's worth, I didn't hear anything about David Moore at all today from any beat reporter. No video, no nothing. So if you're keeping tabs on that, then just letting y'all know. Me personally, I didn't hear or see anything. Nothing. Let's go over here real quick. How much? Yeah, we got 8 minutes, but let's go over here real quick.
Imagine.
Oh, that's a video. Hold on. I thought I saw him live. Oh, yeah, I did.
So that could be a trade piece. Your receiver room is loaded. You got T-Mac. You got XL. You got Coker.
Oh, he got the Reaper T on? Oh, Dunk got the Reaper T on today? First day of camp? Ooh. I didn't know my boy had the Reaper T on. Okay.
Jimmy Horn, who just drafted. You got Adam Thielen, Hunter Renfrow, David Moore. You got Kobe Hudson. You got Jacoby George. You got 8 guys, Dan Chisena. You got 8 or 9 guys that they claim that they love. Some people have been saying that Thielen could be a potential trade option.
Get him gone. If he's talking about potential trades for inside linebackers. I know y'all gonna hate me for it. Y'all been slandering me all season for talking about Adam Thielen. Hey, if we can get a viable option at inside linebacker for Adam Thielen and maybe a tiny bit of draft capital, get him gone.
How valuable is he? He's a dependable guy that can catch. He's older. He's not very explosive, but he can definitely get it done still. Is he a trade option? What is his value? Can you get a starting caliber player? Can you get a contributor? Maybe. But to me, the loser of the center competition is probably your most valuable trade piece.
I'll agree with that. Mays or Corbett, we can see them. We could potentially see them in a package to go acquire more inside linebacker talent. Because I mean, at this point, with how scarce the free agency wire is right now, with how scarce it is right now. Now, listen, like I said earlier, I know how this goes. I know there's going to be a lot of pieces that are released, towards the end of training camp. I know there's going to be some guys that get cut sporadically throughout training camp. Like, I get that. But if you want a viable option that you can plug in and potentially compete for that starting job immediately, you're gonna have to put a package together. And a package that includes a center for a team that needs an offensive lineman. Either one of those guys, Mays or Corbett, I would say those are two very viable options for a team that needs offensive line play. Two versatile guys. So yeah, I can definitely see that. I can definitely see that. I can see Thielen being shipped out too. I can see Thielen being shipped out too. I can. Just letting y'all know.
That's just what it is. That's just what it is. Local kid, what up, though? Arver, you caught me. What up? You caught me. You caught the live. Shout out to you. Jamel, appreciate you, man. Yeah, this that paint splash hat. Make sure you guys please get a video a thumbs up if you have not, man. We rocking, we rolling, we talking about what's going on in Panthers training camp. Oh, I got a shout out? Who shouted me out? Was it Matt? Was it Mac and Bone, man? I gotta get back on there with them soon, man. I know training camp is still early, so they're gonna be tapped in with the important people first. But I get my guest spots on WFSZ for sure with Mac and Bone. Was it Mac and Bone that shouted me out? They're my guys, man. They're my guys. I gotta catch up with them sometime soon for sure. Whenever they want to have me back, let me know. CJ Mosley, I'm not close to any experienced vet. I would rather have a vet, a guy that can hit the ground running.
Whoa.
Let's just punt.
That's a name we didn't mention. That's a name we did not mention. I like that. CJ Mosley, I can get with that. I'm not gonna lie. Anything, matter of fact, let me not be disrespectful, bro. Fuck it. It's my platform. Anything is better right now. Anything that is available is better right now than Trevin Wallace. So I'll just say that, and we'll continue to watch Dunk for 4 or 5
They
more.
want to have this youth movement at linebacker, and they don't want to sign nobody over 30 years old. But we're just putting a Band-Aid on it right now. We don't need a permanent fix. We need a Band-Aid to close up the wound, stop the bleeding, and punt till next year. We'll figure it out in next year's offseason. Whether it's draft or free agency, we'll find another linebacker next year. But get me somebody that I can feel good about and confident about getting through this year, especially depth-wise is what we're talking about. Right?
Facts.
Fans love draft picks, so it's time to pay them. Yeah. Yeah, what if one of the centers get hurt? Yeah, I talked about it. I was like, we got Brady Christensen, who's played some center, and then we have Chandler Zavala, who's been cross-training. Said Thielen didn't retire purely based off his faith in Bryce. I agree, but it's a cold game.
Yeah, I was about to say, I don't understand why that was brought up. That's fine. Nah, for real, that shit is fire, QJ. And the Blues damn near sync perfectly too. No cap. That shit look real good. But yeah, I mean, what does that mean to me that Thielen came back for Bryce? That don't mean shit to me. Like, with all due respect, like don't just say it, like this is a cold game, bro. This is a cold game, bro. No cap. This is a cold game for real, for real. And like, unfortunately, bro. Unfortunately, our need for depth at the inside linebacker position far, far, far outweighs the fact that Adam Thielen decided to extend his football career because he wanted to play another year with Bryce Young. Honestly, it just does.
Idea. This is just what the streets are saying. My fantasy football team is named after Adam Thielen. I love Adam Thielen. Everybody, a lot of people in our fan base been praying on his downfall because they're so obsessed with this youth movement. And I get it. But if the dude is still making plays, he's still making plays. If the rest of our receivers don't want to step up enough to make him irrelevant, that's their fault. The guy's making plays.
This is a debate. This is a debate that I had with Dunk as well as a couple of other content creators about Thielen, because I was under the belief that he was either going to be cut or we were going to trade him. This was before training camp. This was maybe 5 weeks ago when I initially started the whole narrative that it was a possibility that Thielen gets missing in some way, shape, or form. So that, yeah, I was one of those people. I was one of those people as far as the youth movement is concerned. But I mean, he makes a valid point. He makes a valid point and argument. Like if our receivers, specifically the young receivers that we have in the room currently, if they're not able to get the job done and they're not able to beat out a 37-year-old, 36-year-old, however old he is, Adam Thielen, then he's a little bit more valuable on your team than off of it. So it's a valid point. He made him as well as a couple of other content creators made a point to me when this discussion first came up. So I mean, it's a valid point.
Some of y'all say Adam is the best trade piece. Some of y'all saying the center probably is too. Yeah. Who's my favorite wide receiver on the team at the moment? It's got to be T-Mac. T-Mac is my favorite wide receiver, bro. He just got here.
He ain't had a chance to fuck up yet.
So the Slim Reaper shirt is fierce, man. See you representing. Yeah, man. Shout out, like I said, shout out to FPFO. Jeremy, Terrence, Tavion, Dylan.
Salute.
Shout out to them, man. Shout out to the squad.
Salute. Shout out Dunk. This shit real genuine love over here with us too, bro. I'm not gonna lie. I don't do the politics games, bro. It's a couple of content creators that I stay far away from. He's not one, bro. Shout out Dunk.
Back in next year's draft, we could draft high. The guy from Texas, I've been hearing a lot of buzz about. Was it Anthony Hill? Some of y'all's probably a better football fan than me. He's a very, very good linebacker, a blitzing off ball style.
But yeah, so since everybody's on X watching right now, everybody's on YouTube watching right now. I'm about to wrap up. So what y'all should do is go over to Unnecessary Bluntness on YouTube and go end your night with Dunk Stream. I said everything that I needed to say and wanted to say today. It's going to be very difficult. I will say this, like going forward, and let me go forward here while we wrap up. It's going to be very difficult for me to kind of create content, for us to kind of create content outside of kind of the style that you guys saw today. Just simply based on the fact that we're not in the building, bro. We're not in the building, and I refuse to present you guys with information that I don't know, all the context around it. I refuse to bring you guys information where it's just an agenda being pushed by the team or, by specific beat writers or whatever the case may be, though they do a phenomenal job at what they do, and I have respect for all of them, except Dave Newton. But it's going to be kind of difficult for us to create content throughout this portion of training camp. specifically the first week, just because like it's going to be hard to get videos and get information and stuff like that. So every now and then, sporadically throughout the week, we'll pop in, we'll pop up. I don't really have any set schedule. Um, don't really have any set schedule for when we're going to create. I know that Terrence is going to hop on a stream or two with me throughout this, throughout the duration of camp. Obviously, you guys know that we will still be releasing content on Tuesdays at 9 a.m. Eastern time at For Panthers Fans only on YouTube as well as on all DSPs. So that is not changing at all. But as far as like the day-to-day, everyday coverage, I don't know how often I'll be coming up here. Um, just in full transparency, the best thing to do is to follow us on Instagram, X, turn the bell notification on YouTube, because then you'll know. Like today, like I was kind of like debating if I was gonna hop on today at all, and then we finally made a decision around like 3:30, created a stream, and we just we rocking with it. So if you want to stay in tune and in touch with what we have going on, when we plan on going live, when we're doing anything like that, tap in with us on social media. I will always let you guys know when there is a plan to go live via X and also via Instagram. That'll never change. So, it could be one day like today where there's no real plan to make it happen until there is. So make sure to turn all notifications on everywhere just so you can remain to stay in tune and in touch with what we have going on. And if you're unfamiliar with the social media links are all down below. So you can tap in with us there, or you can just take your phone, type it directly off the banner down below, and get plugged in with us. But shout out to everybody that joined tonight. Like I said, the inside linebacker room is something I'm keeping a close eye on. I'm expecting the Carolina Panthers to make some sort of changes within the next 4 or 5 business days. If not, I'm going to be on high alert. Right now, I'm at about a medium. Right now. I'm kind of chilling right now. But if it doesn't happen within the next 4 or 5 business days, I'm going to be on high alert. I am. Though don't, like you guys just saw, the ones that have been in here for the whole time, or that may have just came in within the last 10 or 15 minutes. We were just watching Dunk stream a little bit. Like he said, it could be a situation in which whoever gets beat out for that center position is going to be shipped. And it would be unfortunate because then you wouldn't have as much depth in that offensive line room, an offensive line in which the Carolina Panthers did a very, very good job at constructing and kind of putting pieces together that work very well together, as we saw last year. It would be unfortunate. But in all transparency, I mean, if Austin Corbett is the guy that ends up losing the starting job and ends up getting shipped, I mean, it would just pretty much, with all due respect, be business as usual, because we haven't seen him really outside of about 5 or 6 games over the last 2 seasons. So, I mean, listen, what I want, guys, and what I want to leave you guys with is never get too emotionally attached to some of these players, man. Because at the end of the day, it's a business. And at the end of the day, what we all know to be true is that we're all Carolina Panthers fans. So if we ever say anything on a pod that may rub you the wrong way, or whatever the case may be, bro, just know there's probably not many Carolina Panthers fans out there that are as big as a Carolina Panthers fan as I am, bro. So ultimately, at the end of the day, what I want to leave y'all with is the only thing that I want is wins. I'm very excited. I don't want my tonality to get misconstrued with how I'm feeling currently. I'm very, very excited that football is officially back. It was a phenomenal feeling just to open up my X and just scroll and see nothing but Panthers content, Panthers videos, plays being talked about by beat reporters and stuff like that. I'm ecstatic that football is back. My life is just better and more fun when football season is intact. It is. I'm not gonna lie. I go on the road way more. I go outside way more. I get to watch my gang slide on niggas. I don't know the outcome of the game. So like all the film and all the games that I watched over the past 4 or 5 months, like, all of that is good and it's fun. And it's just part of the job, so to speak. But listen, football season is back, bro. Football season is back. Carolina Panthers concluded their first day of training camp today. And I'm excited. All that being said, all the negative that I spewed today, and I try my best not to be so negative all the time, especially for like a whole stream. So all of that being said, football is back. I'm still super stoked. I still have a lot of confidence in this offense. I just really believe that there are a couple of holes that the Carolina Panthers need to address before we head into Jacksonville on September 7th. So very excited, very happy. I hope you guys enjoyed the stream. Like I said, make sure to tap in with us on social media. If you're watching on YouTube right now, head over to Unnecessary Bluntness. Tap in with Aaron Duncan. He does a phenomenal job. I always tell people he's probably the best content creator, in my opinion, in the Carolina Panthers space by far. With some of the breakdowns that he does, with how analytically he thinks and presents his content. So go tap in right now with Unnecessary Bluntness if you don't do so already. Go watch his stream, tap in with him, run the likes up, send a super chat if you want, whatever the case may be. And yeah, like I said, I'll talk to you guys very soon. Tap into social media to know, what our schedule will look like going forward. And I appreciate all of you guys for tuning in. And we'll talk very soon. Y'all be safe.